Good morning. Welcome back to Colorado and Company. Is happiness a state of mind or a state of being, or both? The Way of the Happy Woman teaches us that happiness is not a coincidence. It's a daily practice. Author Sarah Avant-Stover shares her simple, natural, refreshing tips for minimizing stress and techniques for putting us back in sync with our own cycles and those of nature. Sarah lives in Boulder and she travels the world leading women's workshops. She joins me this morning. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
This is a great book. It's very inspiring. Let's talk about The Way of the Happy Woman. Lead me down the path.
Sure. This is a way of realigning with ancient ways of living for modern women. And it's about simplifying, slowing down, realigning with the cycles and seasons of nature. And the main tools to do that are yoga, meditation, nutrition, and self-care practices. And all of this is enveloped in the philosophy of self-care and radical self-acceptance, that there's nothing to fix about yourself, that you're not trying to be perfect, but you are perfect just as you are. And the way is however your life is at whatever juncture you're at.
So tell me about your way, how you came to this journey and what led you down this path.
Well, I had a pretty extreme wake-up call, and I hope that it's not the same for every woman. And it started actually exactly 12 years ago. I was a senior in college in New York City, and I was diagnosed with the early stages of cervical cancer. And for me, that was a huge warning sign that I was living unsustainably. I had low self-esteem, I had eating disorders, I had a lot of depression and anxiety, and so I knew that if I didn't change how I lived, that I would die, either of that or of something else at some point in the near future. So serendipitously, after I got that diagnosis, I was offered a job to teach in northern Thailand, and I went and lived there for the next 9 years of my life. And there I really learned how to find true health and happiness as a woman in the world today through yoga, Buddhist meditation, detoxification programs, and simply slowing down and learning to turn into myself rather than run away from myself. And after I did that for myself, I started to meet women around the world whom I would go and teach, and they were all suffering from the same problems that I had been suffering from. And so it's from that The Way of the Happy Woman was really born.
Wow, this is so interesting. I was just talking to my husband last night going, I feel worn down sometimes. I feel like I don't have enough time with the family. What is genuinely happy? How do you get there, and how do you define that?
Well, first and foremost, happiness is here and now. And as women, we need to stop looking for it outside of ourselves. We need to stop looking for a man to give it to us, or our job, or how much we weigh, or what kind of clothes we wear, but start to see that it's really who we are, and to start peeling away the layers of the onion to reveal that more and more. So that's the first step, simply a perspective shift, and putting yourself more in a place of power rather than a victim. And the second thing is realizing that happiness is a daily practice. And I like the quote by the writer Annie Dillard, how we live our days is how we live our lives. So what are the little moments that make up your day where you give yourself pleasure, that you give yourself joy through simple things that can be like buying yourself fresh flowers, or eating nurturing foods for yourself, even if you're on the go, or taking a walk around the block during your lunch break, or when you're feeling a little tense.
That's so important. And you also talk about rhythms and cycles. What do you mean by that?
Well, as women, we are intricately linked to the cycles of nature. And in this culture, in the world today, it's like we always have our foot on the gas pedal. We're always going full speed ahead. And that's how we burn out. So we need to honor all the cycles of our energy, all the cycles of our mood. So in spring, it's about rebirth and becoming. In the summer, it's about celebration and maturity. And in the fall, we start to slow down more and pare down and let go and turn more inwards. And in the winter, we rest and become more quiet and still. And we need all of these points in the wheel of our lives, both throughout the year and throughout the day and throughout our entire lifetimes, to continually feel renewed in energy and not feel burned out and depleted all the time.
Makes sense. And we keep talking about women, and the book is The Way of the Happy Woman, but would this also work for a lot of men who are watching the show?
Definitely. And I have a lot of women who've written to me whose husbands have read it, and they're very appreciative of it because it gives them more insight into how to make the women in their lives happy or how to help them towards happiness. And I feel that when a woman finds her happiness inside, when she lights her up from inside, then she lights up everyone around her, because as women, we're the hubs of our communities.
Yes, you're so true. And if you don't take care of yourself, who is going to take care of your family, your children? You know what else I like? Yes, you include like a lot of yoga and the sequence and all that good stuff, but you have recipes in here that are very helpful and easy to make and healthy.
Yes, for me, a big part of my path was cooking for myself.
Yeah.
And that's just a really simple daily way that we can reconnect with our senses, which connect us to the present moment, and use seasonal local produce to connect us with the seasons and nurture others after we've fed and nurtured ourselves.
Very interesting. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. I know you're busy with a lot of book signings. She also talks about journaling and how it's important to journal. Thank you again.